welcome to the one-on-one with Kayode Dugbe.
That's why they close. They quickly take their uniform off because they are vulnerable.
There is no way, from the layman's point of view.
Thank you very much, to come and do their wire fell down and their what the R V in mafia manager called the Capone the Titi Capi became a worse godfather than every other.
To TSL Nigeria and get updates on the go all day, every day. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on TSL Nigeria Space TV and join our online family.
Now, mental health is a level of psychological well-being or the absence of mental illness. The World Health Organization further states that the well-being of an individual is encompassed in the realization of their abilities, the ability to cope with stress in life, productive work, and contribution to the society. This week is known as the World Mental Health Week, and the theme is mental health promotion and suicide prevention. This morning, we're joined by a medical practitioner, Dr. Asemota Osai. I hope I got that correctly. Yeah. And he's going to be talking to us about mental health. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
We're so happy to have you.
Yes.
Same here.
And let's see that you look really kiki.
Thank you.
And so let's dive straight up into the conversation of today, mental health. Now, in this part of the world, when you talk about mental health, it's somewhat vague in people's head, and they feel like if you've not pulled your clothes, if you're not on the streets, you are necessarily not having a mental illness. So, what is mental health?
Well, the basic definition is not far-fetched. Like you said, it has to do with psychological balance, and then, of course, the absence of mental ailment. Other than that, I think in a layman's term, we should be looking more of what the Greek call olos, which is wholeness.
Okay.
Now, you earlier said that I'm looking good, and you too. The thing has to do with your total well-being. If you are not psychologically balanced, you will not come out the way you're looking.
Sure.
After all, you dress the way you want to be addressed. Now, if you look at the other term which you brought in as regards in our society, where people tend to think that when somebody is mentally ill, then his clothes must be off. It looks like the mad people will talk about on the street. But that is not all that encompasses a total well-being. In more standard society, we have situations whereby from time to time people are sent to see their strength. The strength is the psychologist, the psychiatrist, beg my pardon. And you see, this has to do with your emotions. It has to do with your total well-being. And it's a shame in this society where we still have situations when people are told or asked to see their psychiatrist and they think probably they are mentally ill, as in terms of being
They've
mad.
lost their mind, schizophrenia.
That is why, to a very large extent, the psychiatrists in our society are basically out to see those that are totally mentally deranged.
Wow. Okay, well, you know, for your physical health, doctors advise you that you go for regular checkups or things you can look out for in your body to know that you're unwell.
Yes.
Now, for your mental state, are there also symptoms you can look out for to know that, okay, it might seem like I'm going off the rails, it might seem like I have anxiety disorder. At what point do you feel like, okay, I think I need to see a professional right now for the things that are going on in my head?
Well, for me to answer that correctly, I think it has to do more of awareness.
Okay.
You see, if you tell somebody, or a patient, to go see a stroke at the psychiatrist, most times they don't go. Most times they feel, what is this doctor saying? Is it that I am mad? Why do I have to see my stroke? Other than that, the psychiatrist is not the only person involved in the mental health management or treatment. The psychologist is also there. Most times we are not aware that psychologists are in the hospital settings, the tertiary institutions. You can go see a psychologist when it has to do with emotions. Okay, fine. I'm surrounded by beautiful ladies.
Thank you.
And of course, you know how it is like when you have a heartbreak. Emotionally, you are not balanced.
Sure.
And if for any reason that progresses to other ailments, then you see a medical practitioner. He can just decide to send you to his shrink or to your shrink.
Okay.
You understand? So, for an individual, now back to your question, if on your own you know that emotionally you are not balanced, psychologically you are not well, then nothing stops you from going to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
All right, doctor, what are the common mental illnesses that people don't really pay attention to? Because you said something where you're answering her question that, for instance, heartbreak, and if it's not well probably dealt with, it could lead to other things in the body, and the doctor still tells you to go back to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. And so what are the common mental illnesses that you see on a daily, but people are not even aware, people don't even pay attention to the fact that this is actually a mental illness?
Looking at the society we are in, the term mental disorder goes to show that an individual is probably mad. The clothes are off, the eggs, you understand? But in a society like this, what we should know is that with the level of stress we are going through in the society, we discover that other than going all out with the clothes off and all that, a lot of factors bring about different mental illnesses. For instance, there's anxiety disorder. We shouldn't be looking at the schizophrenic aspect. That's extreme. You know, anxiety disorder. It's one major thing or psychological imbalance that we have in this society. And that can lead to a cascade of various medical problems. Lack of sleep, you know, which will translate to headaches, which may even lead to other physical ailments like increase in blood pressure and all that. So I think I will rank anxiety disorder as one of the major examples of mental ailment in our society.
So what are some symptoms of anxiety disorder? Because people get anxious every now and then. You can get a mild panic attack because something is about to happen. So at one point, what are the things that you can see and you say, okay, most likely I might be edging towards having anxiety disorder?
Okay. You just said something, and I think you answered yourself.
Oh, I feel smart.
The question. You said from time to time you can have like a panic attack, which comes and it's off, right? You get over it. Now, if you, at the end of the day, as a medical practitioner, you see a patient and you, from your diagnosis, you discover that, oh, this is probably anxiety. And you think it's something that the patient can get over, right? But in this case, the patient keeps coming for that same thing. Even when you, as a medical practitioner, you decide to give a placebo. You know what the placebo is?
No, what is a placebo?
Okay. You do your clacking, you do your diagnosis.
Yes.
And then you discover probably this patient just has maybe like a panic attack, like you said, or something that he or she might get over. So you also know that in the mind of every patient, there is this mind that I've come to see a medical practitioner and I'm going to get probably a medication. But the medical practitioner knows that this patient doesn't need a medication. So we give what we call placebos.
Okay.
So psychologically, the patient feels, oh, I've gotten the right or a medication that will help my condition. But for that medical practitioner, you know what you have done, because you know that the patient doesn't need what? A medication. Now, if the patient goes and comes back again and again and again, dwelling on the same issue, it means that the patient has not been able to get over that problem psychologically. Then you can start grading the patient to be what? An anxious patient that might have need for what? Anxiolytics or some mental ailments.
So this placebo, is it actual drugs? Like maybe you could just give them vitamin C and make them swallow it and see if their mind will overcome it, or is it actual drugs, a placebo?
A placebo is actually a drug. It's not. It's a medication containing no active ailment.
I'm offended. So basically,
So like literally, it's not really doing the job.
well, the patient believes that they're taking the drug.
Water.
Oh, I have been, so people have been defrauding people.
No,
Actually, I've never got to the placebo, but wow.
that's it. So you see, we're actually in that case playing on the patient's psychology.
I guess it's all in their head.
Yes.
Nice.
So, but of course, you know.
Wow, that's a lot. Now, since this is Mental Health Week, I know a lot of hospitals, a lot of NGOs have been organizing talks and creating awareness, so people should go check themselves out and see, especially people that have been having reoccurring psychological issues. Now, how should we drive this home? How can an average Nigerian know that his mental health, just like his physical health, is key to him?
I think it's awareness. I think the onions fall on us medical practitioners to create more awareness about this, and I must commend the TSL for this kind of forum to shed light on basic things.
Thank you so much.
I think if other organizations, the government, private individuals, NGOs and all that, if they can go all out to create more awareness, then I believe that we would go a long way to pass the information to Nigerians on how and what to do when it comes to mental health. And if I may say this, it's a pity we still live in a society where we drive around and we see mad people in quotes still walking the streets. That alone is a psychological trauma on those that are sane, mentally sane. Yes. How do you feel? Come on, I'm asking you now, because I have been answering all the questions. How do you feel when you drive down our street and you see mad people?
It does something to me, actually.
Psychologically.
Yes, psychologically.
So that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, but for managing mental illnesses, do they have cures or are they just manageable? You know, when we have high blood pressure, you're on the medication for a while. Sometimes they increase your medication, sometimes they reduce it just to manage it and keep it at a level pace. Now, for mental illnesses, do they have drugs that cure them, or do you just have to manage them?
It actually has to do with the type of mental ailment you are addressing.
Okay.
There are some, well, I didn't say this, I was opportunity to do my internship in a psychiatric hospital. So there are cases where you just have to manage for the remaining part of the individual's life. There are other cases which can be sudden, like you just mentioned, like a panic attack or a news that's so shocking, it throws the person off balance psychologically. Cases like that, you know, after medication, the person is okay and it's good to go.
So for
fits into the society well.
So for the bigger ones, the schizophrenia, the bipolar disorders, you kind of have to manage those ones.
It's the management therapy.
Doctor, what are the things that can literally trigger a mental disorder? What are the things that people do on a daily? What are the things that can happen or the things that can build up, and at the end of the day, the person goes for a diagnosis and the investigation comes out that
So many things.
this
So
person
many
has
things. So many things. It can be physical trauma, that is head injury. You know, it can be stress. Nigeria is a place where we have so many stress. You know, it's that's physical, right? Then there are also, in quotes, genetic factors. You know, you have kids born and you know that mentally they are not okay. It might be as a result of so many things. It can also be as a result of medication during pregnancy and all that. So we have a whole lot of factors that can lead to one form of psychological or emotional disorder.
Wow, that is amazing. No, I was always looking to ask a medical practitioner this. Stop laughing. Now, for multiple personality disorder, now there's been copious conversations and there is no enough medical evidence to back up if it is actually a real disorder or is a hoax. Now, there are lots of videos right now on YouTube. There are several accounts of people that claim they have multiple personality disorder, and sometimes they've captured dissociation when it's moving from one personality to the other. Do you believe that it's actually a real personality disorder, or are you of the school of thought that it's probably still a hoax?
Well, how do I say this now? You see, the psychology, it's vague. It's not something you can touch or handle. So unlike other ailments where okay, you have malaria,
the symptoms
and all that. So the whole medicine surrounding psychiatry, psychology, it's mental, right? So in classifying a patient having multiple personality disorder, I think I would say it's not hoops, it's real. Yes, people have it, and with proper diagnosis, they can also be taken care of.
Amazing.
Amazing. While we're beginning to wrap up this conversation, Doctor, I had between one question. One is somewhat a cheesy one. Now, I know many people around me have mood swings. Now, I want to know if mood swing is actually a form of mental illness or it's something that just comes and goes.
It's a psychological thing.
Okay.
You can't say it's a mental illness.
Okay.
It's a psychological thing.
I am attacked.
You can have mood swings,
swings,
not because of one physical manifestation or the other. You can have it just because of your hormones.
Oh.
You see, when women, mostly women, you see, you move from one...
Don't be scared.
moves to the other.
Okay.
You know, we say you guys are more emotional, right? Then when you look at the hormonal aspect of a woman, is different from the men. That is why most times when a lady menopause, they also have mood swings. Just because now some certain hormones are not being produced, so you see them having mood swings as well.
Oh wow, thank you for that clarification. All right, Doctor, as we begin to wrap up the conversation, I want you to drop your last words. What are things the public should be aware of concerning mental illness as a doctor?
Well, I would say this. People should know that mental health awareness is something that is very, very important in our society, based on the kind of society we live in. And as such, I want to say this, that religion also has a role to play. If you are a Christian, you're a Muslim, or you're a pagan, I think there is no religion that teaches violence or that says you should go out and commit one sin or the other. So if you hold on to the teachings of the Holy Bible or the Quran, you discover that to a very large extent you have the will to drive yourself day in, day out. Knowing fully that, for instance, what will be, will be. So you lay your mind at rest. You understand? And then knowing fully well that there's someone up there who is totally in control of basically what we do. So when you are emotionally balanced, your mind is at rest as to your daily activities, being able to achieve what you have to achieve, and if you're not being able to achieve some certain things, you move up to the other day and probably someday you achieve them. You see that you'll be less stressed. So my advice is this: take one day at a time, do the best you can do, and always have that joy in your heart.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr.
welcome.
Esemosa. This is the time where we have to clap, but Joyce doesn't like clapping. So. Thank you so much, Doctor. Like you heard him say, take one day, one step at a time. Life would happen to you at its cost. My name is Nike Moya. This is the point where we've come to the end of the breakfast show on TSL Nigeria TV. I'm super excited because from next week, we are going to be commencing a new segment on the show called Loud Thoughts, and all you have to do is go to our YouTube channel and drop all of your questions and we'll attend to them on the segment. Tomorrow we'll be here giving you all of the craziest gist that went down during the week. I know you cannot wait. The three of us, the Musketeers, are going to do all the amiable for you. My name is Nike Moyo, and do have yourself a lovely day. It's a bye for now. Good morning.
Stay connected to TSL Nigeria and get updates on the go all day, every day. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on TSL Nigeria Space TV and join our online family.